Welcome to another episode of Strange Bedfellows, a Julian Fellowes fan cast. I'm Kirt Graves.
And I'm Stefanie Jochman-Deepak. Today we are discussing the second episode of Downton Abbey Season 2.
And last episode, we were naughty, and we talked a lot about the episode before getting to the recap.
Yes.
So this time I'm going to be more disciplined, and I'm going to follow the outline, and I'm first going to say, listeners, from here on out, we're going to be spoiling what happens in the episode. So the evergreen spoiler alert is still in effect. We are going to spoil the heck out of this. So don't listen to this show unless you've watched Downton Abbey as many times as we have, or at least once.
Yes.
So you're not getting the show spoiled for you. And then we're going to go to Stefanie's always brilliant 60-second recap.
Thank you. Your Lordship, please accept my thanks for the rather enlightening weekend at your estate. Though I, an important publisher keen to make money on my newspapers, will never embrace the thoroughly backward and positively ancient ways of those enjoying inherited wealth, I thoroughly enjoyed my time at Downton, even if you didn't serve cocktails before dinner. And what an unexpected delight to run into an old acquaintance, Lavinia Swire. I wonder, though, if Mr. Crawley knows what he's gotten himself into. Though my papers had reported on the way the landed gentry had deigned to get their hands dirty on that land for the sake of the war effort, I hadn't imagined they were so involved as your daughter Edith. She really has taken to ploughing, it seems. Nor had I anticipated just how much chaos the loss of a few servants could create in a house like yours. How did Downton get on the last time Carson was under the weather? My conversations with your youngest suggest that Downton will be much busier in the next weeks as it fills with convalescing soldiers. Much better use of the space, I think. I hope their presence won't further upset your jittery valet. I trust your connections have helped your cook to learn more about her nephew, and I wouldn't mind if you passed those sources along to one of my reporters. Mary and I spoke upon departure at the train station. It seems only sensible that a man of my influence and a woman of her means and connections make a go of it. We can work together to modernize your fussy world. Regards, Sir Richard Carlisle.
Snaps.
Thank you.
That was great. Love that. Yeah.
That's the last time I'm going to embody that man.
Yeah. I got to say, even at the beginning, I was like, oh, God, him.
Yeah.
But it was like, that was good. That was good because he's new. His eyes are new. So he's seeing this all for the first time. So that was very smart to choose him.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
Well done. Yeah. Can we start by talking about the storyline that I think we both forgot, which is about Lang?
Yep. Totally forgot Lang.
Totally forgot Mr. Lang.
Yep. Did not even think about, Robert won't have a valet who's going to fill in. When he showed up, I was like, oh, that's right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We do have a different valet for a few episodes.
Yes.
He doesn't stick around long, but he's here for now. And another reason I think I try to forget him is this is another stop on the trying to rehabilitate O'Brien tour.
Yes.
And I'm not here for it. I don't need to like her. I don't want to like her.
Nope.
I don't need to know that she had a brother who had shell shock and then died when he went back to the war. That's all very sad, and I don't want to feel sympathy for this woman.
Nope.
I'm perfectly happy disliking her.
Yep. I have a number of comments, like every time she covers for him or looks at him sympathetically, I'm like, doggone it. I forgot that's how they try to humanize O'Brien.
Yep.
And here they are again, humanizing O'Brien with Lang. Totally forgot this plot line. Very frustrated in the way that it makes me question my feelings about her.
I do love that the show is taking on a storyline about post-traumatic stress.
Yes.
At a time before we were calling it that, but that they talked about it and that they had a character embody it, and that he is treated with dignity and respect and compassion.
Yes.
I can like all of those things and still think we don't really need to talk about him again.
Yeah.
That's all we need to know about him for this whole episode. New valet. He's kind of jittery. He's got shell shock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's something with which O'Brien is familiar.
Yes.
And more empathetic maybe than most.
Correct. Because she recognizes it and, because she has just enough empathy to care about something that affected her own family. She's able, you know what? No, I'm still annoyed with her, because if her empathy only extends as far as her own life experience, if she's only able to have sympathy for this man because he reminds her of her brother, then that's still not a great person.
Okay.
So there.
Good job.
Yes.
All right, we're settled now. Put the world back to rights.
A storyline I will never forget, and that I think about when I'm watching this show, and I think about the storylines that for some reason really stuck with me, and it all happens off stage, as we talked about in the last episode, is the story of Mrs. Patmore's nephew.
Yeah.
Who is a main, a central character in her story in this episode and in future episodes. And again, it's one of those things that I think is so important to have talked about and to have brought up in this context. And I love the compassion and sympathy with which her plight is treated.
Yes. Yeah, that Robert, so she asks Robert to find out what may have happened to her nephew. She's thinking he died in action, and no one's been able to get the information to her family. And he looks into it, delivers this news privately to her that her son or her nephew was shot for trying to leave the army.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cowardice is what he calls it.
Yeah. And so he delivers this information to her and says, this is where that information stops. I know, your sister doesn't have to know. I won't say any more of it. And yeah, just the respect that he gives her, the dignity that he offers her family is really remarkable. And a positive character note for him at a time when
he's always being a bit of a pill.
Yes.
Yeah.
My note exactly is, this is the season in which Robert is really stupid. Understandable, but stupid.
My note was, Robert's self-pity is never entertaining to me.
No. Never entertaining, never really garners any empathy given his position in life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, we're aligned on that.
Yes.
If you wanna see Stefanie and Mai's biggest fight ever, go listen to the last episode.
It was tense, but we recovered.
We worked through it. Now, I have to push the boundaries a bit of our PG status. We have to go PG-13 for us to discuss the next important thing about this episode, which is the introduction of Edith the Slut.
Okay. Yes. There prior, like maybe 5-10 years prior to this season airing, there was a Kenny Chesney hit, very popular on CMT and country radio, called She Thinks My Tractor's Sexy. Lovely little ditty that could have been Edith's soundtrack to this episode.
Charles Blake's theme song.
Yeah. Charles Blake, who we've only seen previously very
nearly
under
dying
the weather.
Of dropsy.
Yeah, nearly dying of dropsy, very bloated, very, unhealthy looking. Now, dashing farmer.
Yeah.
Capturing Edith's heart as she drives that tractor to her heart's content.
Yeah. Here's the thing about Edith the Slut. And it's that anytime a man gives her any modicum of attention, she falls right for it. It takes her a long time to realize her self-worth.
Yes.
And so there are several instances throughout the series when Edith the Slut comes out. And this is the first. And it's, and she's there because she's learned how to drive. These farmers, the person who used to drive their tractor has been sent off to war. Nobody knows how to drive this tractor. She does. So she's like, I'll go help. Great. No problem with that. More power to you.
Yes.
Love that. But then Mr. Blake is like, oh, you're very pretty and you're very good at this. And she's like, stop. Don't say things like that. I can drink beer out of a bottle. Watch me.
Well, and I love that Mrs. Drake tracks it immediately.
Immediately. Yeah. Well, I will say this. So they have this conversation, like their first time together doing something. They have this conversation in the barn, and they're sitting down and they're talking about farming. And Edith says, there's about farming. She says there's room for sentiment, but not sentimentality. Mm-hmm. And Charles Blake is impressed by this. He says, that's very good. You should be a writer. Interesting seeds planted at the very beginning of this season.
Yeah.
For Edith's future storyline. You should be a writer. Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yes.
And then Mrs. Blake comes in the barn and she's bathed in golden sunlight and she's carrying a basket and she's all smiles and she's handing out some bread and everything's so lovely and idyllic. Next scene, when they're, standing by the tractor and they're talking, the tractor trailer, and they're talking, and he gives her the beer and she comes out. She could not look more haggard. Right. Her hair is a mess. The lighting is terrible. I was like, they just did Mrs. Drake so dirty.
They really did.
It was like, that first scene, lovely, wonderful, bringing a basket of food. Second one, don't you think you should be getting back to work? It was like, oh my God. Could we have used a touch of subtlety in this?
Yeah. No, you've summarized that very, very well.
Anyway.
So at one point when describing what's going on with Edith and the Drakes, Violet says that she talks about Toad of Toad Hall. She's like, who are you, Toad of Toad Hall, that Edith's driving, right? Because Toad has the car. So instead they've turned Mrs. Drake into the Toad, really.
Exactly. And then they do, later in the episode, they're working late. As these things often happen in television shows, they take the opportunity to kiss, even though they would both smell so bad after a full day of working the farm and like sweating. No, but okay, sure. He kisses
Pheromones?
her. Mrs. Drake sees him doing it. And then this storyline wraps up with Mrs. Drake basically firing Edith at the end of the episode, being like, oh, we hired somebody else. We don't need you anymore. Don't come back. Yep.
Fires her in a letter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah. It's basically a Post-it before
the Post-it.
It's the Post-it episode of Sex and the City, but, of its time. So that's the full storyline of Edith the Slut for this particular episode, but don't worry. She'll be back.
Yes. She found her métier, farm labor. And then we've got like the fox asking the fox to spare the chicken. Mm-hmm. I don't remember where the fox and chicken line came from, but it's around the same time as Edith finding her métier, farm labor.
Yeah.
But then she loses it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun little storyline of Edith branching out on her own. And I won't say the word again because I think I've hit my limit.
Okay.
Anyway.
I appreciate that. On behalf of women, we thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, and I'm not that word shaming people.
True.
I say go for it.
Yes.
But Edith in particular acts pretty high and mighty for somebody who has had as many dalliances as she has.
Fair point.
Or will have over the course of this series.
Yes. And I do think, I don't think when I first watched this season that I put together that this Drake was the man who had dropsy in the first season.
Oh, and why would you?
He looks totally different. He seemed a much older man in that first season than he does in the second one. I don't know if it was later on that I put two and two together, but it just never registered with me. But I do think what Fellowes does with Edith and this family in particular is really interesting in terms of conversations about class and about the relationship between, an estate owner and the tenants on the land, and how that relationship can be exploited at times.
Yeah, because in a lot of ways she is the one with the power.
Yeah.
Because Mrs. Drake does not just go out and confront her and say, leave, get out of here. Like, she has to do it in such a way that she doesn't risk their tenancy.
Yeah.
You know, it's and because if people were to find out, it would certainly be blamed on them and not her.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Richard Carlisle. We touched on this because of the letter at the beginning of the episode, but
yes,
Richard Carlisle, no thank you.
No thank you.
No
indeed.
thank you.
His age seems more appropriate to Rosamund, but I have to note she would never. And the whole time I'm just calling him Khaleesi's handler.
Yeah. He's also Bruce Wayne in the Titans series, where he really struggled with the American accent.
Okay. It's Ian, is it McDiarmid?
Something like that, yeah.
I think so.
He pops up in things all the time.
Yes.
Do you watch Silo? He was in Silo, too.
Yes.
Silo's great.
Yeah. Drew recognized him from Silo. He's like, oh, that guy. Yeah, Silo was excellent.
Yeah. So, again, great casting, great acting, good writing. Don't like this person. Don't like this character. Which I think is exactly what I'm supposed to feel. I'm not supposed to like him. I'm not supposed to want Mary to be with him. I'm not supposed to see all the reasons that he and she would be good together. Instead, I'm just supposed to be like, I don't like this smarmy jerk.
Nope.
That's exactly how I feel about him.
Mm-hmm. And the whole time I'm wondering, why, Mary? In what world do you find this man attractive? In what world is this man a good match for you?
He's tall. He's something. He's in good shape.
He's commanding, I guess.
You know.
But I remember the first time watching this, it felt excruciating. Like having to see him with Mary just felt excruciating. So he comes to Downton, basically, pshaws any of their traditions, their behaviors, their structures, acts above it all when he doesn't have as much status as they do. But clearly is still interested in the wealth and the trappings and all of that.
It's cerebral, their courtship.
Yeah.
It's not about the feelings. And as becomes clear during his, I think, worse proposal.
Yes.
Later in the episode, I think this is even worse than Bates, because Bates didn't say the feelings part out loud, and Richard Carlisle out and out says, like, well, I could talk about feelings, but that's not what we're about. It's like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
But it's true. It's accurate. Their relationship is not about feelings. It is not about love.
Yeah.
It is about two people who could be good for each other in this world strategically.
Yeah. He says the quiet part loud.
Yeah.
And boils love down to Moon and June.
Yeah. Moon and June and all that. Like,
yeah.
All right, buddy. You do own some newspapers. You could maybe be... You could take the written word a little more seriously. Yeah,
be a bit more eloquent. Although it's clear, because I can't remember who asks him, but somebody suggests that, he feels a certain responsibility and a certain weight to his work, given that he's delivering news in wartime. And he's like, the war just sells papers.
Right. Yeah, my responsibility is to my shareholders, not the readers. That's his attitude.
Yeah.
All right. Again, so charming.
So charming. And
it's strange that we don't fall for him.
And sadly prescient.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah. Really, unfortunately prescient. Yeah. Very disappointing. I do like that he has a moment with Violet in which Violet can establish very quickly, I don't like you. And we as the audience can be like, yes, he is doomed.
Get him.
Yeah. We are more than evenly matched. She has an unamused but kind, sometimes she has unamused but kind looks, and sometimes she has unamused but loathsome, and he definitely gets the unamused and loathsome look.
And rightly so.
Yes.
Yeah. Rosamund's part in all of this is interesting, because she's there. Does she need to be? But her opinion is also like, yeah, I can make it work. That's fine. Not my marriage. My marriage was better than this nonsense. But still, Mary should do it.
Yeah.
Like, it's an interesting take. Also, I love that her husband's name was Marmaduke.
We get great names. We
Yes.
get Marmaduke, and then we get Archibald Philpotts is
Yes. Oh,
Mrs. Patmore's
Archie.
nephew. I know.
Archibald Philpotts.
Yeah.
Lovely. Sounds like he should be going to Hogwarts.
It does. It really does.
Any other well, I guess the last big plot point is that throughout the episode, we have Thomas helping. He gets himself to work at the hospital, and so he is helping one of the soldiers who is healing there, and they have a connection and a leg touch that I'm pretty sure means Thomas will have more boyfriends in this series than I have had in my life. Because their sparks were flying.
They were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were meant to see that, right? That's not just me seeing gay where gay does not exist.
No, I think you're meant to feel, because I think Thomas feels the genuine connection, right? And the soldier Courtney, right?
Mm-hmm.
He reaches out to Thomas, doesn't he?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it seems like a genuine
Hand on leg.
Yeah. And Thomas is pretty vulnerable, says as much as he can safely say about himself and how he might feel different than other people. And when Courtney is faced with being moved from that hospital because they need the beds for more patients with more serious injuries, he ends his life. And the action would suggest that he feared being someplace unfamiliar and maybe feared being someplace where he wasn't as understood.
Yeah. Which is the impetus for Isobel and Dr. Clarkson and Sybil to make the case to the family that they have a place that could be used to convalesce these soldiers. And it's Downton Abbey.
Yep.
And though not everyone is on board, enough people understand the value of what this could do for their community that they ultimately say yes. And by the end of the episode, we know that it will be transformed into this convalescent home for the soldiers while the family is still living there.
Which is a storyline, I think, partly inspired by the actual history of Highclere Castle, where Downton was filmed. It served as a convalescent home during the war.
That's wonderful. Mm-hmm. I love a little touch of real life.
Yeah, so there's if you go there, they have displays out about with photographs of when the house was a convalescent home, and I think memories from men who convalesced there. So I really love that moment of art imitating life.
Yeah. I have always wondered, even from the very beginning of watching this season, why they don't just go to one of their other houses.
So
you know what? That's a good idea. We're going to let the professionals take over. We're going to move all of our valuable belongings somewhere behind a locked door, and we will go live in one of our smaller homes while this place acts as a convalescent home.
That's a good question. We know they have a house in London, and I can't remember.
They also have the Dowager House and the Crowley House, and there are options.
Yeah, I think the Dowager House would probably be too small. Either that, or maybe they have this conversation behind the scenes, off stage, in the Greek drama style that Violet detests.
Yes.
Right? And Cora was like, "No way are we spending 24/7 with your mother."
That could be too.
I can imagine that would be the logistics of not living in the Dower House. And Crawley House, I think, would be probably too small. It's like a house in town. They're too close to people in town. So it would be down to, it's either like we have to maintain a certain lifestyle, so they're going to live at Downton. I think London is probably unsafe, where they don't want to spend that much time in the city. Plus, the city at certain times of the year more prone to disease, right? Especially as we go further down the line. So if I were making these choices, these would be the practical things I'd be considering.
No, that's good. These are good reasons to stay and live in a house full of strangers.
Yeah. Either that or maybe Robert's like, it's my duty to, be here amongst the tenants and keep an eye on everything.
He doesn't give me that vibe in future episodes. He seems quite annoyed by all of this.
Yes. Indeed.
Yeah. But that's where the episode ends, as we find out that they're doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're going to serve as a convalescent home.
Yeah.
And again, so many tiny plots running too. Maybe most prominent in terms of the downstairs that, other than Mrs. Patmore's nephew, is we have William joining up. So he is joining the army and asking for Daisy to sort of be his girl and be waiting for him when he comes back. Something that she agrees to quickly, but clearly has some second thoughts about and some worries about what kind of commitment has she made. And his joining up and his excitement about it contradicts with Lang's experience.
Yeah.
And he sort of puts a damper on William's spirits and his excitement about heading to war.
But I think also very kindly at the end of that conversation says, like, well, if this is what you want, then God bless,
Yeah.
Like, I will pray for whatever he says. It's basically like, good luck. I hope you have a better outcome than I had.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other part of this that, because I usually skip these episodes, that I was always a little frustrated with was Mrs. Patmore's advice to Daisy to not break his heart right before he goes to war. That would be bad.
Yeah.
But it's because I sort of forgot the timeline of her finding out about her nephew and like that informing her advice to Daisy. Like, I don't want to lose another young man.
Yeah.
Or I don't want William to lose the will to fight or to live. I don't want him to run. I don't want that to be his fate. And so if you can do this small thing by just saying, I'm here, I'm waiting for you, you don't have to marry him when all is said and done, but just give him some hope. It makes a lot more context. It makes more sense in that context than when you skip the first few episodes of the season and then continue later on.
Yeah, that's the dominoes are set up really nicely here for why she gives the advice that she gives and how things move from here.
Absolutely. All right. Are you ready for some trivia?
I am ready for some trivia.
All right. So every episode, one of our hosts challenges the other with a trivia question related to the Julian Fellowes property we're discussing. In this case, Downton Abbey Season 2. Could be about an actor, the production, the time period. The possibilities are endless. Before we get to this week's question, let's listen to my answer from last week.
My question for you today is about crepe Suzette.
Oh, awesome.
Yes. So crepe Suzette, which is a dish Mrs. Patmore was making that Ethel really craved and which the dog came to enjoy, consists of crepes, which are flambéed tableside and covered with a sauce traditionally made from caramelized butter and sugar, Grand Marnier triple sec or orange curacao liqueur, and juice from which fruit?
Okay. I'm trying to think if I saw any fruit on the table in the scene. It would make sense if it was like, it's easy to juice get juice out of a citrus, but would you do the orange liqueur with an orange or with a lemon or a lime? What other things are easy to juice? I'm going to go... No, I'm not, because that would be insane at this point in time. I was going to say pomegranate, but I don't think they had easy access to pomegranate. Easy access fruits. I'm going to say a lemon.
So close. It's an orange.
It wasn't orange. They doubled down on the orange.
Yeah, orange or tangerine.
Okay.
According to Wikipedia.
There you go. There you go. And see, I was like, hey, they wouldn't do both. Would they do both? I need to go with my first thought more often.
Yeah. But you were very close. So good job.
Thank you. Well, listeners, did you get it right? Follow us on Instagram at Strange Bedfellows, that's fellows with an ES, where we will be posting the trivia question each week. And this week, I have a question for Stefanie.
All right, bring it on.
All right. And you almost touched on it earlier, so I hope that it's still a challenge for you.
Okay.
So Violet disparages Edith's interest in driving by declaring, "We're not Toad of Toad Hall." This is a reference to The Wind in the Willows, a children's book written by Kenneth Grahame and published in 1908. Mm-hmm. Just an aside, it is surprising that Violet would know this reference since the book had been published only 9 years earlier.
Yeah.
When Violet's children were long grown. And I don't think she was reading children's books to anyone in her free time.
No.
So I'm just saying, it's strange that she knew this reference. The Wind in the Willows featured anthropomorphized animals as the main characters. Mr. Toad, Mole, Badger, Rat, and so on. The question is, what animals with a reputation for being evasive were cast as the main villains of the stories?
Yes.
All right. Tune in next episode to find out if Stefanie got it right. If you think you know the answer, find this week's question over on Instagram and put your answer in the comments. This has been another episode of Strange Bedfellows. You've heard our thoughts, and now we want to hear yours.
The best way to get in touch with us is on Instagram. Again, that's at Strange Bedfellows with an ES in Fellows, or email us at strangebedfellows@gmail.com. You can also find our personal social media links in the show notes.
And we would love it if you would please rate and review the show wherever you're listening to us right now, and subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. Thank you so much for listening.